99,999. Come on, one more. 100,000. Yes! Hello there. Welcome to the Tasty Classics show, where, as you've just seen, I have hit 100,000 subscribers, which is a bit weird, isn't it? Surely there's got to be something else on that you could all be watching. And in this video, I want to go through some bits of what is coming up in the channel now that I've sort of got to this milestone that I've been working towards for the last 2.5 years or so. Well, for my entire life, really. Putting everything in place, like this place. But also, there's going to be details of a Tasty Classics Cars and Coffee meetup, which is going to be amazing, which is going to be super cool. But I'm going to make you sit through quite a few questions and answers that all you guys have been sending in via Facebook, Instagram, and on here on YouTube. You've all been commenting and leaving questions. So I'm going to go through those. There's quite a lot. But in between all that, I'm going to be revealing some other stuff, some details of a couple of competitions that I've got coming up and a new piece of merchandise, which is going to be well on the way. And I will be revealing at some point in this video how you can get your hands on tickets, because they're very, very limited, to bring your car down to the Tasty Classics Cars and Coffee, organised by my mate James, who does Chester Cars and Coffee. And thanks to everyone at Chocks Away Diner, who have agreed to put it on, which is pretty cool. And as well, it's worth mentioning that there is a cost to these tickets, but after it's paid for James and for his crew of marshals and all this sort of people, every penny that's left over is going to go to charity. I'm not taking a penny for the meetup. It's just a chance for me to come and see you guys, say hello, shake some hands, that sort of stuff. And I'm hopefully gonna make a few quid there because I'm bringing the Rascal down, plus quite a few other cars, and I'm gonna fill the Rascal full of merchandise and stuff, so you can buy stuff when you're there, like sticker books and t-shirts and things. So that's very cool. So the first thing on the agenda that I'd like to briefly discuss with you is where the channel is going and what's happening. Now I've hit 100,000 subscribers. So what I've decided to do is pie off all this old car nonsense, right? Get rid of all of that. And I'm going to start buying supercars from Copart. That's what I've decided to do. So I've got a Lamborghini turn up here shortly that's been flipped 9 times. And I've got £100,000 worth of parts. And I'm just going to bolt all those parts on because that seems to be working for a lot of people, you know? So that's what I'm going to do. So if you like old Rovers and stuff, well, you're screwed, aren't you? I'm joking, of course. I don't mind all that sort of stuff. Again, I'll get onto a little bit more of other YouTubers in this video and what I think of stuff that other people are doing. But I like doing what I'm doing. I like my format. I like rescuing cars. I like finding old stuff. I love old British cars. But one thing I'm trying to do this year specifically, you know, cars are cars. If the right one comes up, I'll always jump on it. Like if the right Rover ST1 turned up, I'd jump on it, or the right Triumph Stag turned up. And what makes them right is a question that I'll be going into later. But what I'm trying to do is get into other makes of cars. Like the Fiat Panda that you saw last week. The Fiat Panda, it's a cool car. I really wanted one of those for a while. The Volkswagen Beetle, trying to get into stuff that isn't just Rovers and Austins and all this old stuff, really. They're a bit niche. They're not, you know, in the Vauxhall Cavalier and stuff. They're great and they're fantastic videos. I love them. And again, if the right one comes up, it's not going to stop me filming it just because of what car it is, because I'll rescue absolutely anything. But I am looking more specifically for other cars and potentially a little bit more modern. I've said this a few times before. The Audi TT and the Focus ST, the two newest cars I've done on the channel, did the best in terms of viewers and stuff, apart from the Jaguar XJS, because that was just an iconic looking thing in that thumbnail. It was just epic car. But those two more modern cars, they sort of blasted everything else out the water in terms of views. So I'm trying to sort of go more down that route, which is going to be a little bit more interesting for me. Hopefully less welding, but saying that, the Focus was probably one of the worst cars for rust on the channel. But yeah, you get the idea. That's what I'm sort of trying to head towards, really. But I will still do really old stuff. But, you know, when it comes to stuff like the Sunbeam Talbot and things like that, I'm not really interested in going back for those sorts of cars now. P4 and stuff, love, but I've done that now, you know. So 80s cars I love, 90s cars I love, and early 2000s cars I love. That's my era. I'm 37 years old, if you didn't know. So my era, my nostalgia drives me towards those sorts of eras. So that's what I'm trying to look for. It's not easy though, because finding those sorts of cars laid up is a bit more difficult, you know. They tend to just be on the road and stuff a little bit more. Jackie Eardley asks, if I had one car to keep and drive forever, but I could only have that one car, which would it be? Well, it's not this. It's not the Porsche. It'd be the Panhard. If I could only have one car, I could only work on one car. So all my time and effort would go onto the Panhard. And that would mean I could turn it into the most awesome resto mod. The only one left in the world, resto mod. I think it'd be super, super cool, and I'd do all sorts of crazy stuff to it if I could focus all my attention on that, which I can't. So I'm not going to. I'm quite happy with it as it is. But there you go. That's the answer to that question. Peter Deakin asks, would I ever do a banger race? I haven't sat in front of this car for any particular reason there, but would I ever do banger racing? And, you know, what do I think about banger racing, really? Well, it's not something I would ever do on this channel, or probably I would ever do in life, really. It's not my cup of tea. I don't mind it though, which is probably a little bit controversial, but one of the reasons I don't mind it is I've had to sell a lot of cars in my life, a lot of cars. And there's a lot of talkers out there and there's a lot of doers, and banger racing boys usually and girls tend to usually be the doers, not the talkers. Talkers seem to be the people that comment on videos like the Cavalier and stuff saying restore it, and if they see a car being banger raced round a track, they'll go, oh, why didn't someone restore that? You should have restored it, you should have kept it on the road. But the problem is that these people very rarely put their hands in their pockets, get the tools out and fix these cars themselves. And if you speak to anybody that deals with classic cars and stuff like that, you'll never really find them slating the banger guys off, because they turn up with the cash. And in order for businesses to carry on doing classic car work and stuff like that, they need cash, and sometimes those are the guys that are providing it. With an exception, the cars, whatever it is that they banger race, and they all do this, all usable trim, all usable parts, all usable stuff off that car, whatever it is that they're going to banger race, they make sure they keep and they sell, or they send, you know, to owners clubs. The parts get used out of these cars. They're not, you know, but a lot of them, they're beyond economical repair, really, and it's just like they probably wouldn't ever get restored anyway. It's just one of those things. It's not my cup of tea. I would never personally do it, but I don't necessarily mind it. It's not the end of it. And that's coming from someone who has had to sell cars to people that I'm going through something at the moment on the Cavalier where I've sold it on eBay and just zero contact from the buyer. And that's the problem that you get all the time. Whereas a banger boy would probably just come and pick that up, wouldn't he? Give me the money, I can move on to the next thing. If I had to banger race one though, it would have been that Sunbeam Talbot. I always probably going to slag that car off, but yeah, it was a bit of a mess, that one. And yeah, it would have looked great round a banger track, I think. Ross MCL says, when am I doing a workshop makeover? And well, yeah, it's all right as it is. I quite enjoy working in here. It's quite nice. Could do with it being a bit lighter. Annoyingly, you might get some ceiling roof like skylights put in. But the main thing is the floor. You mentioned the floor is desperate to be painted. Unfortunately, I specialise in cars that leak very corrosive stuff all the time. Old brake fluid is very, very corrosive, and most of the cars that I get in here have still got old brake fluid in, and it will eat the paint in seconds. So unfortunately, yeah, the floor gets a bit of stick. If you're from a company and you'd like to come out and sort of sand it all back and paint it again, you know, if you're watching this and you are a company in the Northwest, I would like to give you my money, and I would like you to help me do it, because I've painted it about 4 times myself now, and I just can't really bring myself to do it again. But yeah, it's fine. A nice bright floor would be better, but I quite like it as it is. The only thing I would really like to do, as I mentioned in the year-end review video, is knock this wall down and build it onto number 17 there and do some stuff. But Got to get a few things boxed off before then, and that's money. David Cannon says, don't start doing Ferraris and that. Well, I can't massively afford it. You know, 100,000 subscribers doesn't automatically mean that I've got tons and tons of money. Money's all right, don't get me wrong, but I own 2 other businesses that, you know, provide me with money and stuff. So that's why you might see me with a Porsche and things, but 100,000 subscribers don't necessarily mean that you are automatically minted at all. So, you know, don't get the wrong impression there. Money is still tight. A lot of the videos that I do, I end up keeping the cars. So all of the outlay goes specifically on that video really. And the money that I get back from the video tends to just pay for the video. So I've got to live somehow, haven't I? So yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to be jumping into Ferraris and stuff. I find joy and I find pleasure in the mundane. I like Cavaliers, I like Fiat Pandas. I always have done. I love stuff like that. I like normal cars. I'm, you know, if the right ones come up, there might be special cars along the way, but I will. You know, there's so many different cars, and I tend to be doing one every 2 weeks, and I want to be doing this for a few years yet. So that's a lot of cars out there, you know, and I don't like doing the same car twice. So I'm not going to be jumping into Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Might be some special cars along the way. Might be some more expensive stuff coming along, like I mentioned, like maybe Stags or SD1s, stuff like that, that is, you know, that they're costing me £5,000 to buy as opposed to 1,500 quid. So there might be stuff like that along the way as I get more popular and hopefully more money through the door. But until then, yeah, I'm perfectly happy just cracking on with the cars that I do. And it's a bit more realistic. I prefer working on realistic stuff, money-wise. So there you go. Steph from iDriver Classic says, what shampoo do you use? It's Head & Shoulders. Head & Shoulders Classic. Thanks, Steph. Thanks for that. Half Mile Duck, great name. Half Mile Duck asks, what car do I sort of regret selling the most, regret parting with the most? And the answer I'm going to give you is a little bit off kilter. It was actually this one, my BMW 520D F11, so 520D estate. It was 2011, it was a 2-litre diesel, it had about 187 horsepower. Quite simply, possibly the best car I've ever had, maybe. I mean, it's very difficult to sum up what makes the best car you've ever had, but everything about it was amazing. Everything about that car was so good. It did like 50 odd to the gallon. It was the comfiest car in the world. I drove it all the way around Europe, loads, went abroad in it a few times, and I used to do maybe 25,000 miles a year in that car. God, it was good. And it was the first car that I bought when my record shop, Tasty Records, started to do well, started to do better years ago, that I bought and I thought, you know what, I've done all right for myself. I've come from driving shitters for ages, and now I've got myself a nice shiny BMW 5 Series that cost me a lot of money. And I really, really like that car. It was amazing. And I only sold, and he asked as well, you know, I'm just reading his question again. Yeah, what do I regret parting with? And yeah, so I regret parting with that because it only needed a timing chain. And at the time, I needed to get to work and back. I couldn't wait for a car to have the timing chain done. I didn't have a garage, didn't have any facilities, didn't have any money really, because the timing chain job on one of those is engine out, and you're looking at £1,000 plus, probably 1,500 quid now. So I sold it, part exchanged it for a brand new Jaguar E-Pace, which I had. That was the car that I had when I first got this workshop, and it was a steaming pile of poo. So to see if you're paying attention, I am going to give you the first little breadcrumb of this meat, right? The link's in the description. You'll have to scroll to the bottom of the description because I've hidden it, because there's only 220 available tickets for this, and I think the Patreon guys have already got quite a few of them, but there's only that many tickets. It's gonna be quite small. I can't find anywhere that would accommodate 100,000 people. But yeah, so I've had to do it quite small. And the reason I've done it quite small is because I've never done this before. I don't know anything about it. I don't know about organising meets, don't know about any of that. It's not my area of expertise, and I'm shitting myself about it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm worried about the whole thing. Thank God James is on board and able to organise it for me, but if tons of people, you know, if it wasn't ticketed and tons of people descended on it, it would be chaos, and I don't want that over my head. So it's ticketed, and you can't get anywhere, you can't even get down the road if you haven't got a ticket, and it's miles away from the main road where the actual place is. So thankfully, it should be all right. But if you want to get there, there's in the description, go down and have a look at the tickets, and I'll give you more information as this video goes on. Dom J. Kens, I think I've said his name right. Is there any car that you really want to drive that you haven't had a chance to drive? I mean, yeah, loads, but if I could name any, it would be the TVR Cerberus Speed 12, because I'd like, the person who made that car, Mr. TVR, stopped production of it because he said it was too fast, it was dangerous and all that sort of stuff. Is there any way that you could possibly make me want to drive a car more than by saying that? So I'd like to take it round the Nürburgring, thrash the absolute arse off it, and if I die, I die. That's yeah, that car. I want to take that car for a drive. I think there's a YouTube video recently of the ex-Stig, Top Gear Stig, taking one of those for a race around the racetrack, and yeah, it's a bit of a handful and stuff, but I want to be behind the wheel of one of those, big style. I want to do a TVR one day on the channel, a proper TVR, like a Speed 6 or something, like a Cerberus, but whatever. Yeah, Speed 12, man, oh, just thinking about it, ridiculous. I think they're 1,000 horsepower. So anyway, there's your answer, one of those. Don't quite know how to say this guy's handle correctly. Macladilly or something? Did I say that right? Let me know. He says he likes seeing cars being dragged out of barns. That's his favourite thing to do. Like the Cavalier, XJS, what else do you drag out of barns? The Panhard, but I didn't really drag it out. What else is dragged out of barns? This next one that I'm going to film tomorrow was in a field, but you get the idea. Stuff that was sort of laid up and I've gone and tried to do work on it there. So they're my favourite things to do. If this channel could just be doing that and that's it, I would do that. I would 100% do that because it's just the most fun. Problem you've got is that they are by far the hardest things to find. I can't find them because they have to be right. And it's very, very hard to find stuff that is right. And the reason for being is a lot of times people have got there first. So whoever's selling the car sometimes is they're you know, making a few quid. They've got their pickup truck, their flatbed things, and they buy old cars and buy scrap cars and stuff. And when you've seen them on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something like that, they've already been to the garage, they've pulled the car, they put it on the trailer, they've essentially done all of the fun stuff, right, that makes the video, makes it more interesting, and then they're just getting rid of the car afterwards. So a lot of them get, I can't find these things because that's happened. But also the other big reason is that people don't often like me filming there. So if I see something that looks amazing and I go, right, I really want to do this, can I come down and film it? You know, we'll take a few hours, blah, blah, blah. They just don't want me there, you know, filming. It's just, they happily sell me the car and stuff, which is how I get a lot of the cars. But to take up someone's space and someone's time with messing about with it, it's a lot of noise, it's a lot of hassle. And sometimes, well, quite a lot of the times, these cars are available because someone's died, right? And it's insensitive to go down there and start, you know, smashing the things with breaker bars on wheels and hammers and stuff like that in front of the family and things. So that's one of the reasons why. So if you've seen something, you go, God, why didn't Ben do that? Chances are I've probably already phoned them or emailed them, and they don't want me to do it. You know, it's just probably not something they want to be reminded of on YouTube and Instagram and stuff every 5 minutes. So that's the reason why it can be quite difficult. I'm getting my motorbike license at the moment, which is pretty cool. I'm really bloody enjoying it. And I can't wait to show you my motorbike, what I've bought, because it's daft. Can't wait for you to see it. Nick Bradley says, will I be doing motorbike resurrections now? And the answer is probably not no, unfortunately. And the reason being is because I don't fucking know anything about motorbikes. I don't know anything about motorbikes. I'm learning everything at the moment. I just don't know anything about them. So unfortunately, probably not. There might be the odd one that comes along that I think it could be quite fun, but it's unlikely. Cars, yeah, I just know cars. I know where to get all the parts from and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit easier for me to do. But yeah, I say, might be the odd one. But we're not turning into a bike channel, so don't worry about that. Tommy Thurkle says, if a storm is coming and it's going to blow your garage down on top of all your cars, and you only had time to save one, which car would it be? Well, the problem with that is I would be still deciding, and the storm would blow the building down on top of me as well, because I wouldn't be able to choose. So I would die with them. Captain always goes down with the ship. That's what I would do. It would be impossible to pick. It would be impossible. I don't know what I'd do. I would just stand there going, but what about that? What about death? Sun's coming out. Terence Cragg kindly said it looks like it would make a good TV series. I'm not sure exactly what he meant by that, but this maybe would make a good TV series. And one of the things that I used to watch the most when I was growing up was Wheeler Dealers. Loved Wheeler Dealers. I still think Mike Brewer's all right. A lot of people don't like Mike Brewer, and I don't really know why. He did his best and made a fantastic career out of bringing old cars back to life. I quite like him. Ed China, exactly the same. Fantastic guy. And that, you know, Ed China's got a very successful YouTube channel and stuff now as well. So yeah, I think it would. If you work for Discovery Channel, hit me up, email me. It's always been my dream as well to direct a film at some point in my life. Probably, you know, it's how all my videos are 2 hours long. But I have always wanted to direct a film. I've written a film. I have a sort of loose script that I've been writing probably the last 2 years. And I just sort of go into it on and off and just go, oh, change that, do that. It stars, it's about cars, and it stars a car, and essentially the car gets nicked because of a tracker that was left on it at car show, and the guy in a bit of a sort of, if you watch Nobody, the film Nobody, really good film, just brilliant fun and very action, lots of fighting and stuff. But essentially it's that kind of vibe where the guy goes after them and kills them all for taking his car, which I thought was brilliant. So if you like making films and stuff and you've got an entire camera crew and all that kind of thing, again, slide into my DMs, yeah, and make it work. But if this channel goes really well and I end up making tons of money, I might self-finance something like that. One of my favourite comedians is Shane Gillis, and he has a show on Netflix called Tyres. Hilarious. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's about a tyre shop, and it's just so funny. And he's like, to get that series on Netflix, he's got like a few series in the bag now. He self-financed a pilot and then showed it to Netflix, and they were like, yeah, it's sick, we'll give you a series, you know. So that might be something that I do, but I don't really know how it all works, but it's something for the future, innit? I enjoy all the editing and directing and, you know, working out what looks good on camera and stuff, and I'm always learning, I'm always trying to do better with the limited resources that I've got. Vito Passos says he wants to see a Peugeot 309, and yeah, so do I, man. Cool cars, I like them. I have had one before, but I do like them. So we'll get one on the channel one day, definitely. Paul Farger says, don't be so Trump on EVs. These are from Facebook now, these comments, which is why they're getting a bit weird. I don't know what that means, but EVs, they have their place. They absolutely have their place. And that place is delivering milk in the early hours of the morning so as not to wake me up. And that's it. It's the only place for them. Rob Leary says, what got you into this sort of thing? The quick answer is not having any money. When I was growing up, it sort of just grew up with a family of, it was me and my two sisters and my mum, single mum, had help off my aunt and uncle, my grandma, stepdad later on and stuff, but we were never a rich family, never ever a rich family, and everything that I had to sort of buy a cheap one and make it better. That was just how I did everything, you know, all my cars. I never, it's mad when I see 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds driving now in PCP'd Audi A1s and stuff. It blows my brain. It's crazy. I think it's so weird. You can buy a good little car for £2 grand, £2.5 grand, and you've got 18-year-olds spinning around in £25,000, £30,000 cars. The world's weird at the moment. It's very, very strange and very different. I mean, I'm only 37, but very different to how I grew up, where I grew up. So that's what got me into it all, really, was just I had this certain set of skills, if you like, and I put them to good use, you know, making stuff. And I saw that people related with that, and that's why I sort of decided to do it, really. And because of that, it's helped me learn the value of the pound, you know, of a pound. And I think that it's helped me sort of be very thankful for every pound that I've got, and thankful for everything that I've got and everyone around me. I'm very thankful for. I'm thankful for them all. Thankful for everything, really. And I think that comes from sort of having to graft all the time. And I still have to graft now. I work 7 days a week. I work from 9 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, and I probably will do for the foreseeable, at least until I get a missus and she tells me that I can't anymore. But you get the idea. So that's sort of what got me into it, was just the drive to do that and to make better out of bad. Tearing Sailor says, can we have a Tarmac update? Yes, it's simply the best thing that's ever happened to me. I love it. I wish I could do my house in Tarmac, get rid of all the carpets, Tarmac everywhere. I don't know why the entire world isn't tarmacked, frankly. It's weird. What's all the fields and stuff for? Just tarmac everything. It just makes so much sense. Everything's better with tarmac. Has it gone soft? Are there any potholes or anything? No, it's rock hard. And washing underneath the cars in particular is a million times better. I love it. Love my tarmac. Definitely one of the best investments I ever did for this place. Jubkey says, do I want to do more obscure vehicles like the Panhard and stuff? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of, I don't know, it's not massively stuff that people watch, you know, views wise. I mean, I really enjoyed it, but, you know, when an Audi TT does as well as that one did, that's kind of the way I've got to be. So I've got to follow where the money is, really, in some ways, you know, not I'm still doing resurrections and stuff, but I've got to focus more on cars that people have heard of and people know. So when they search for things, they come up and it gives them something to watch, but nobody really searches for Panhard Dyna Z, do they? So yeah, that's the problem, really, is I like doing more obscure stuff, but I have to go for things that people are possibly searching for to watch. But also parts are incredibly difficult to get for obscure cars, even the Cavalier and stuff. For cars that aren't common, so difficult to get parts for them, and doing what I do, that makes my life very, very difficult. So yeah, there will, of course there's going to be those cars, because my favourite thing in the world to do, as I said, is I want to go and find cars that are in barns, drag them out, I want to get them going, and I want to drive them home. That would be the dream for me, like they do in America. I really want to do that type of thing. So there might be cars in barns and stuff that are obscure that is just so good of an opportunity and everything's right about them, and I could end up driving them home and stuff. So yeah, that's, you know, got potential. Some more information about the car show then. So the idea behind it is that I'm gonna have a corner where I'm gonna bring down a selection of cars for you to see. I don't know what yet. I think the Rover is gonna be one of them, because I'd like to do an episode on the Rover of getting it ready to drive down there. So I'll have a few of my cars there, and I wanna see your cars, right? And what I was thinking of doing is, while I'm there, I'm gonna have some merchandise bundles, right? So these merchandise bundles, I'm gonna have 3 bundles of varying values. And what I was going to do was that I was going to judge car of the show. So all of your cars that you're attending, you're all going to be in the main area for people to walk around and have a look at. So hopefully you come down in something cool, but come down in whatever you want, you know. And I will go around and I will pick out my top 3 cars of the show. and you will win merchandise bundles. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, seeing what you guys drive. It's very interesting to me to see what you guys turn up in. There's also another competition thing to do with your cars, but I'm going to go into that a little bit later on. James Palmer has asked very kindly, thank you mate, any tips for weight loss and stuff. So I did used to be a lot heavier than I am now. I was 19 stone 13. I was almost 20 stone, right? About just over a year ago. A very, very, very heavy guy. And you probably saw in some of the older videos, a big fella. I've slimmed down a lot now. I weighed myself this morning as 15 stone 1, which is a huge loss. It's almost 5 stone lost, which is massive really. And there's a couple of reasons for that and reasons behind that, and I've written them down, so I'm going to have to sort of reference my phone, because he asked, have you got any tips and stuff, and how do you do it with working the amount you do? So the answer's 2 parts, and it's not great, the answer, right? It's not a romantic, amazing thing of, oh, I just work really hard and diet and exercise and all this sort of stuff. The first part is, I lost the first few stone through quite a bad heartbreak. So I was going out with a girl, and I was on top of the world, thought everything was great, and it turns out that it wasn't, and we split up. And it's amazing what that does to your sort of mental health. And I was doing all the videos at the time, and you wouldn't have really known by looking at the camera, because I was very good at hiding it at the time. But I went through this huge heartbreak, and nothing is better for losing weight than a broken heart. Because you just sort of, I couldn't eat. I wasn't interested in food. My brain was just not, that was the only thing my brain was focused on for a while. Completely over it now, but that was the sort of main thing that drove me to drop probably the first 3 or 4 stone. And then when I got there, I dropped down a bit. I was thinking, do you know what? I wasn't asked about her anymore. And I was like, I'm looking better. Why don't I start, really trying and really sort of pushing and trying to do more and get down to a weight that I've never really been before in my adult life, because I've always been a bit chunky. So I thought I'd try a bit more, which is where the second part comes in. So the second part is, again, not a great answer. There is also a little third part, but I've only just started that. But the second part is, if you want to know how to lose weight, the answer is money. And it's sad to say, but this is the first time in my life where I've ever been truly sort of financially comfortable. I'm all right money-wise at the moment, until I ended up buying something really expensive, and then I shit myself for about a month. But I'm all right money-wise. And the reason that helps is that you can make better choices. My diet involves now vegetables and meat, but a steak might cost you 15 quid. And I go to Waitrose, which is right near where I live, and it's the nicest food. All the vegetables and stuff taste great. They have a better selection. They have vegetables that don't get boring. You go into Asda all the time, it's the same stuff, but they have weird little things that you're like, oh, that looks quite good, I'll eat that and stuff. So annoyingly, yeah, that's the biggest sort of advice, is get some cash behind you and buy better stuff. It's a shit answer, I know, but I'm trying to be as completely, I would never bullshit you. I'm giving you everything, that I've sort of done. And yeah, just being able to make, and if you go out to, healthy eating's more expensive than bad eating, by far. And if I'm on the road and I go and stop at a petrol station, and I'm hungry, I will buy the little carrot sticks and hummus, and I will buy the little fruit pot and all that sort of stuff. But that might be 5-6 quid for that. Whereas you could buy a packet of crisps for 90p or a quid. So it's, it's the difference between that really, that is the main sort of thing. And then that got me to doing that, essentially got me down to about 16 stone, right? Got to about 16 stone. I got there in December, and Christmas was happening, and there was food everywhere, and it was like for Christmas and stuff, and I was like, I was finding this really hard, and I just couldn't get past 16 stone. I was trying everything I could, but I kept slipping up, and I kept going and doing all this sort of stuff, but I couldn't get past 16 stone. And I saw something online, a couple of YouTube videos about someone that I trust and someone that I know, James something, like a health fitness guru guy. I can't remember his anyway, but yeah. So I saw that he said he'd been on the drugs, and I don't mean like speed and crack and heroin and stuff. That's only on the weekends. He was on about the sticking the thing in, and like Ozempic and Mounjaro and stuff like that. Now I've bought some Mounjaro, and it's helped me lose this last stone that I've lost. Which is amazing, and I feel like it's the only way. It's 250 quid a month, but if you're really struggling, what it does is it gets rid of what he called it food noise, and it's just so helpful, so helpful. So I was already doing the right things, putting everything into place. If you've been watching the Wheels and Wings podcast as well, I talk about the exercise that I do, which I'll go into in a second as well, but it stops anything getting in the way of you doing those things. It just sort of cancels out that sort of hungriness. It's really good, but it's not like a cure. You've got to really work at doing other stuff as well, but it just gets rid of that noise constantly in your head going food. So yeah, that's what I've done, and that's helped me get to where I am now, which is 15 stone 1. So it's helped me lose the last 13 pounds, which is amazing. Ideally, I'd like to get down to sort of 13-ish, something like that. So I haven't got that far to go, maybe 12 and a half or something, but I'd like to start putting some more muscle on and stuff. I don't know. I'm just sort of, just telling you exactly how it is. You were probably hoping for a better answer of, oh, do this, do that, but heartbreak, money, drugs. This channel is no bullshit, and it never will be. Exercise wise, it is important to do some exercise. So I go running. Annoyingly, it's been so cold over the last few months, I've not gone running anywhere near as much as I wanted to, but I started going running in August last year, and that was because I went to a shop called Ellis Brigham's or something to be measured for running shoes, because my friend told me that you need to get measured for proper running shoes, and I realised that I never been really wearing shoes properly, which is weird to say, but they taught me through it all, how to tie laces, starting from the bottom up, and so your foot doesn't slip inside them and stuff. So I did all that, and I fell in love with running, so I go running as much as I can. It's difficult sometimes, I'm so busy here and stuff, which is why the Friday videos, I try to sort of make it so if the weather's nice, I can spend time and go out for a run rather than having to rush here and do something, when I can just do this in the evening or whatever, So bit of exercise is important. I'm trying to do some press-ups, trying to, go for runs as often as I can, so that's really important as well. And it's handy to have that sort of half an hour or so when I'm running, just to not be thinking about work and not be on my phone and stuff. So that's what I've been doing. I like it, it's good. And I'm hoping when the summer comes out, I'm going to be able to increase that a lot, because the weather's going to be nice, because it's freezing cold at the moment, all the time. But not for long. Next week it's getting warm again. So I hope that answers your question. Sorry for waffling on a bit with that, but I thought it was quite important to give you what you need, answers-wise. Mr. Caterham 500 I think I saw at the end of his name. Another thing about losing weight as well is I can lean on cars without putting dents in them now, but I have to make sure I position myself properly. Anyway, Mr. Caterham 500 says he would like more shorter videos and like half-hour stuff. I did a 10-minute video on popping the dent out of this Beetle quarter panel just for a laugh, and it did really well, and people were really receptive to that. So I think I would like to try some more stuff, but I want some ideas from you guys. What would you like to see that I could bring into these shorter videos? One of the things I could do is, I'm still waiting for the paperwork for this Beetle, so I don't want to start working on it yet, but I would like to do, and let me know, instead of trying to do all of the restoration on this in one big epic video, why don't I do everything on it as a series of half-an-hour videos, and maybe do 20 or 10 half-hour videos on the restoration of this Beetle? So for example, the first thing I'll be doing on it is going for a trip to Heritage Parts down south and doing a tour and picking up all the parts for this and all that sort of stuff. I've been speaking to them, sorted it all out. It's going to be amazing. They've given me a discount code for you guys and stuff, which we'll sort out in this video. But I could maybe do that. So the first thing would be going down. That second video would be stripping the arches off and doing the little bits of welding that it needed. third one would be putting all the new arches on and painting and, you know, stuff like that, just sort of progressing the thing. And then another episode would be wheels and anything else and lowering and all that sort of stuff. So let me know if you'd like that sort of thing instead of doing it one, because I still want to do all the big long videos because that's my favourite thing to do. That's what I prefer to produce. But if you want to see something like that, it would probably help me out as well, stuff like that. I don't know, because I could probably drop one, you know, once every couple of weeks or once, you know, on a Wednesday or something while you're having your tea. I don't know, let me know. Or if there's anything else fun that you'd like to see, let me know. Stephen Wint says, I'd like you to find an Australian car to do. So would I. I mean, that'd be dead cool. Like a Holden Monaro or something like that. That'd be really smart. I'd like to do one of those maybe in the future. Money, all the good stuff is more money, isn't it? But I've never been to Australia. I'd like to go. There's a few people that watch, maybe some of these subscribers that are in Australia, and they all seem pretty cool. And I've mentioned him before, but one of my favourite YouTubers that I watch is from Australia. It's called Bruce in Oz.
It looks like Wally the Wabco has got the mandatory snake skin, where it looks like the snake's gone up here and shed its skin and gone up into this hole.
If you ever watch Bruce in Oz, he just resurrects old lorries and stuff, deals with big spiders and snakes. It's great, really good channel. Dave Illingworth says, how about some other catchphrase merch? Yeah, absolutely. Costs a lot to produce, but this, very excited to announce, is the next design that's going on hoodies. Just had a bit of a catastrophic sense of humour failure from the all aggro. Now, I don't think I've got any hoodies. Well, nothing's going to be ready by the time this video goes out to show you. They should be coming by the end of the month, but they're super cool. And I'm really looking forward to getting those, because the Rascal ones, we've nearly sold out of those now. They've all gone. And that's it. That's stopping. That's the end of that. We're trying to do a new design every quarter, every 3 months. But I really like this one. Mark Rowland said, real ale or lager. If there was a gun to my head, it'd probably be lager, because I could drink more of it, I think. Real ale gets a little bit sickly after 7 pints. But yeah, if it was gun to, but I like both. I really like both. I like anything. I like IPAs, whatever. You know, nice, good, bitter. Well, I'll drink any beer really, as long as it's, yeah, good. It doesn't even have to be good. I've got a fridge full of Carling because someone gave me a load, and I'll still drink that. Will Bowen asks something similar to what we've been discussing. Are you going to carry on with the barn finds and stuff? Yeah, of course, but again, it's difficult finding them. That's what I want to do the most of. I would love to do that every week, but it's finding them that's the problem. It's not that easy to get when they're just right, and they've got to be something I want to do as well. Sometimes I see stuff in barns and I'm like, I can't be bothered with that. I don't really want to do that. It doesn't speak to me in any way, so I leave them there. It is important to mention though, the Tower of Power. I like getting out of the workshop, and I want to do more stuff like we did with the Boxster this year. So I'd like to do some track days, something like the supercharged R53 Mini. A video I'm thinking of doing as well, I go and find one of those, buy one, take it to a track day, you know, a track that we've not been to before, get it on the Tower of Power, clean it up, make sure I've fixed anything that needs fixing on it, and then raffle it off for you guys, because I know a few more people want to see a couple more raffles on the channel as well, which is a great way for me to earn money for the channel, and for me to move cars on like the TR7 and stuff, making sure they go to people like you instead of just some randomer off eBay who gives me a load of hassle and stuff. So yeah, great. There's going to be other stuff as well. Nürburgring, I'll be doing a few Nürburgring videos hopefully this year. Season's coming up very, very quickly. First one will probably be the Porsche as well. I'm due a little holiday soon, so I'll probably be taking that up there soon. But yeah, a few little track days and, you know, similar to the Boxster video type stuff. And obviously resurrections like this kind of thing is the bread and butter as well. You know, I sort of count this as barn find stuff as well, really, even though it isn't in a barn, but just left for deads, you know. Bringing old cars back to life. That is the bread and butter of the channel. That is what I will always do. He also asks, what's the most difficult extraction? Some of them, which is a great question, some of them were really, really hard. The XJS was incredibly difficult because it was dark by the time I was doing it and I was on my own. It was so tough and it was rock solid, and the brakes were inboard at the back. And my winch isn't amazing on the trailer. That was a struggle. I was panicking a little bit because I was 4.5 hours away from home. Anyway, the Austin 1300, obviously, because we had a tree growing behind it and we had to tear another Austin 1300 in half to get my one out. That was a lot of fun though. But the hardest extraction by far is this one, the Rover P6. I mean, that P6, that poor bloke's garden. God, yeah. I mean, it was just, it was the one of my favourite videos that I've ever done. That car was a trooper, absolute trooper. It was so, so, so good. It fills me with joy remembering that. It was great. But yeah, getting out of that bloke's garden, it was a swamp. You know, it was just wet grass and just rear wheel drive old Rover with sticky brakes. It was hard work. We're trying to dodge past all those cars. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's a brilliant video. And it leads me nicely onto Borman289's question as well. He says, what makes a good tasty classic? So again, sort of going over similar bits really, but adding on, don't wash it. If again, a lot of the times I see these pictures of cars and they look so cool, and then someone's dragged it out and washed it, and they've taken all of that thumbnail goodness away from me. Because if it's in a bad state and I can make it look better, that always, a transformation is what makes a great sort of tasty classics car. Cars that are parked on concrete or tarmac, that's better. Cars that are parked on grass will tend to rot out much, much quickly and much, much worse, and they become just not really that viable to do. What else? Nobody messing about with it first really, really helps. If someone's been in there and messed about with it, it ruins the storytelling aspect of it. Because I can't be like, nobody's been in this car for 30 years if, you know, there's empty cans of Stella in it and stuff from when the last person tried to get it running. So it's just something that's a properly sealed thing that's just been sat there for donkey's years. That makes a really good tasty classics. And again, if you've got a car out there that's been laid up for years, that you've got the paperwork for and meets all that criteria, I want to hear from you. The email address is in the description, and I would love to come out, try and get it running and try and drive it home. If it's before 1985, I can drive it home because it doesn't need an MOT. It doesn't need to be roadworthy. I mean, doesn't need an MOT. So yeah, that's really good. That's the sort of thing, that's the sweet spot there. If all those things add up, that's the car I want. But like the 205 GTI, amazing. Such good fun to do that episode. Such good fun. Just be able to drive it home, you know. So that's what I'd like to do, because I like going for drives in them, but I'm going to try more to do that. Sean Morris says, what's in the boot of the Cavalier? Sickness, probably. There you go, mate. Essentially, absolutely bugger all. There's nothing in there. It's completely empty. Sad, yeah? But I hope that answers your question. So the Tasty Classics Cars and Coffee 100,000 subscriber special Cars and Coffee is Saturday the 19th of July from midday till 5 o'clock. So make sure you get your tickets. The tickets are in the description at the bottom. So check it out. Find the tickets there. Go and get yourself one. Should be a lot of fun. And we're going to hold a sticker meet. I'm going to have a little table set up somewhere where you can bring all your stickers and you can swap them for need, want, got, need, swap, yeah, all that sort of stuff. It's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. Mum of 3 asks, what's your dream car now that you've already got your dream car? Well, it's dream cars, because the truck was my first dream car and then it was the Porsche and I bought the Porsche. So what's next? Well, it used to be the Lotus Carlton, but it does change all the time. It used to be Lotus Carlton, but if money was no object, it would be a lilac Lamborghini Diablo SV. And I would take it to the Nürburgring and drive it until it broke. There you go. John OVW says, what's the favourite BTCC car? Well, it's that one there, the Peugeot 406, Tim Harvey. Can't remember the year, was it like 97? Something like that, but oh, it's got 97 written on the doors. Oh wow, I wonder if it's 1997, I can't remember. Late 90s Peugeot 406, so good. One of the best cars in the world ever. I've had several. I've got a saved search for one now, because I would like to get one again to either return back to mint, or as John OVW says, turn it into a bit of a replica or track car or something like that. I don't know, but I have got a saved search when the right one. Ideally, I want the 2-litre turbo, not the V6. So I don't know, see what happens. Rusty Rides asked, is there a car that I've had my eye on, but the owner won't sell, and I've, you know, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, absolutely. The MX-5 was kind of like that. Driven past it forever. There's also on that same road a Volkswagen, I think it's like a Type 2 split screen little camper van thing, but the owner will never sell it, and it's built into their garden and stuff. And anyway, so yeah, but one of the big things is that every car that I buy, I really want to do some sort of filming or photography when I'm there, so I can build it into the story of the video. And sometimes people just don't want that, and it has put the brakes on a lot of stuff. I had a guy recently, you probably still see it on eBay, sold items, but there was a BMW E36 that I really liked the look of, and I've been looking for a while, but it was a convertible, but still I really like convertibles, so I wasn't that bothered. I wouldn't mind a convertible, but probably would have preferred a hardtop for that particular car. Just value-wise, really, because they hold the value a little bit more. But yeah, I approached him and I said, look, I'll pay whatever it is for the car. It'd been in your garage for a while, but can I do some filming there? And he was just very rude with his answer. He was just like, no, lol. And I was like, all right then, see you later. So yeah, it does happen. Can't buy stuff. Well, I could buy it, but it just means that it sort of, a lot of, you know, the goodness of the video would disappear. Miriam Handley asks quite a lovely question. What's the sort of best bit about the job? And there's three things really. First one's a little bit off-piste, and it is, I really enjoy when I go and pick cars up, getting them on the trailer and driving back with the car on the trailer, because people love looking and they're like, oh, look at that guy, what's he doing with that? He's got a new project, where's he going, you know? I like that, that's pretty cool. I like cruising up and down the UK in my Land Rover with a car on the trailer, that's fun. Unless the traffic's really bad and annoying and stuff. I wouldn't mind a new tow car at some point, because the lack of cruise control on that does my head in. Really does. I've used cruise control all the time in everything. Not having it on the main vehicle that would benefit the most does my head in. So I might start looking in a few months' time, once I've paid my motorbike off, because I've put that on a couple of credit cards. But yeah, once I've paid all that off, I might start looking for a new tow car, maybe a Touareg or something. But the other two things that I enjoy about the job the most, painting. I really like painting cars. Nobody really wants to watch that, unfortunately. It's the least viewed aspect of every video is painting. Nobody's really that keen on it, but I enjoy it the most. And which is why I've been farming it out a little bit recently. Because yeah, it's just not, it takes very, very long to film, and it's very, very dirty, and it destroys camera equipment and stuff. Like, I can't wear a microphone while I'm painting. It'll be wrecked in seconds. Sorry if that messed the audio up when I touched that then. But yeah, so painting is something I really, really enjoy because I like the transformation. In Panda Part 2, obviously a lot of painting that we're going to be doing, which is cool. I've got all the stuff over there for it. And the other thing that I enjoy the most is...
Come on, you can do it! Oh, I'm hearing putts. This is gonna run. I'm sure of it.
When you hear a car, as you probably do, when you hear a car fire up for the first time in God knows how long, and it just goes boom and it comes back to life, I don't know why. It's like these cars have souls, yeah, and I'm bringing them back to life, bringing them back into the world. And that for me is the joy that it gives me when, I mean, you can probably tell because I look like an idiot and a kid whenever the car starts, but it's just, there's something about it, something totally weird about it. I imagine doctors feel the same when they resuscitate a patient successfully. I don't know. If you're a doctor, let me know. But yeah, hope that answers your question. So this brings me on to another thing that I'm going to be doing with the channel. I've probably got 4 and a bit boxes left, 4, 5, 6 and a bit boxes left. I started off with 15 boxes, something like that, of the Tasty Classics 24-25 sticker book. They've been selling extremely well and they're just the most fun. I love it. It's one of the best things I've ever done. I absolutely love it, but they're so cool, really, really good. You buy sticker packs and you put them in the holes, and anyway, they're really cool. But the reason I'm telling you about this is because I'm doing a little competition. Now, the 25-26 sticker book is going to be bigger. It's going to be more of an annual. It's going to be much thicker. And that is because there's going to be a lot more stickers that are going to go in it, because we've done a lot more cars, which is really exciting. And we're one day, maybe next year now, I don't think we're going to hit it this year, we're going to have enough cars from the channel where I can do a proper big, thick top trumps pack. But I also need a bit more money behind me for that because that's expensive. But we're going to do top trumps at some point. But the sticker book, the reason I'm telling you about this is because I'm going to do in the 25-26 one like a Reader's Wives section. Sorry, not Reader's Wives, Reader's Cars section. And what that is I want you, right, to send me, and I'll go over this in another videos or, you know, when I actually get it all properly done, when I start making the book, but to give you a bit of a heads up, I want you to send me in a before and after of your car. So what did you buy it like? How bad was it? And then how good have you made it? That's essentially what I want to see. And then I'm going to do it in the middle page. There'll be a spread, and I'm hoping to do 6 before and afters of the cars. So I need really high quality pictures. It's got to be a high quality. If it's not a high quality picture, I don't want to print it in my sticker book. It's got to be a decent picture, not some in the dark round the back, you can hardly see it picture, down your side of your driveway or something. Some nice pictures, and I want to do your cars, so you're going to feature in the sticker book. Basically, it's going to be people who watch the videos, their cars that they've resurrected. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There won't be stickers of them or anything, but it's just going to be your cars in the sticker book, which I think is going to be super cool. And I'd like to see what you're up to. Don't forget the raffle for this car is still live till the end of the month as well. It's not sold tons of tickets, this either. I don't know why. Weird, yeah? So you've got quite a good chance of winning it, and it's only £1 to enter. So the link is in the description for that also, and it's on my Tasty Classics website. But a couple more questions for you. Escom Buster, who spells his surname like Buster Rhymes, wants to know if I'd ever do a European resurrection. And yeah, I'd love to, but it would have to be a similar thing that's, you know, a UK one. And I need a bit more money behind me, and it depends where it is and how far and all that sort of stuff. But I would love to like go to France somewhere and find a car and make it run again and drive it all the way back here. I would love to do that, but it'd be very expensive to do. I'd have to get slightly different insurance and stuff because I'm too old now to do it without insurance and things. I wouldn't have minded years ago, but a bit boring nowadays. My license is a little bit more valuable to me nowadays than it used to be. But anyway, so yeah, there you go. I would love to. If you're in Spain or France or wherever, Germany, and you or anywhere in sort of mainland Europe that I could drive back from, if you have a car that you think would work, get in contact, because that could be quite fun. I think I'll fly over with a backpack full of tools, drive it back. On the cars and coffee as well, Lee Barterby said, would I do a meet down south? And the answer is no, because you guys have all the meets, everything good with cars, meets wise, and you've got Cafe and a Machine, you've got all these amazing places. It's all down south, right? We have nothing up here in the northwest. We get a really good cars and coffee, and that's it. There's the occasional smaller meets, but we don't have any of the Goodwoods and all this sort of stuff up here. So I would, if I'm ever going to do a bigger one, I would like it to be in the northwest. I want to represent the northwest a bit more, because the northwest, you know, we do struggle for car meets. So I love down south, and I will be going down south and doing stuff, because Nino from Not Economically Viable, he's down south, so I'm going to go and see him and do other stuff and things like that. So there's, you know, I will be down south doing things. I don't know if I want to tell you this, because you might all switch off, but I was actually born down south, so I'm technically a southerner. Should I have just admitted that on TV? But I've lived up north my entire life, which is why I'm tight with money and I like beer and pies. Robin Harrison says the old, I think it was rust coloured is the one that he means, hoodie, is that going to be coming back? Because we've got black and grey at the moment. And for this next run of merchandise, the one with the Austin, I might end up going for a rust coloured hoodie on that. I'm not sure yet. I haven't got them available on the website yet for you to buy, but I'm going to look at that. So yes, that might be coming back. Might do it especially for you. There you go. But you'll have to buy all 100 of them, or however many I make, I don't know. Dave Barrett says, let's have a multi-pack of air fresheners. Okay, I've done it. It's on the website now. Save you a few quid, saves you about £1 each, get 4 for £12.99 or something, whatever it is, but it's on the website now. I did that because of you. So there you go. And he also says, would you like do a poll to see which car you would raffle off? Someone who wants to see more cars raffled, and the answer is not really out of these, because I kind of want to keep them all. Most of them anyway. There is one in number 17 which I'm thinking about raffling off, but I want to keep all these. However, we go back to the Mini thing, the Mini R53 or that type of car, whatever I find, you know, something that'd be fun on a track day. I think that might be more sort of that edge, because it gives me a chance to really test the cars, to make sure that you're not going to get them, drive home and it's going to blow up. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. You get a chance to really drive the stuff. So it would be quite good. Similar to what we did with the Boxster again. So yeah, there you go. If you want to let me know what cars you would like to see in that sort of thing that I could raffle off. Dawes Dawson says, can we have a scantily clad female running around in the background? Well, we've got Dickie, haven't we? But yeah, I mean, I'm trying, mate. I'm doing what I can. Curtis Ryan asks, will I be doing coloured variants of the logos? And the answer is no, because, not now, not right now anyway, because these are trademarked, which cost me a lot of money to do, but also the cost to do one run of merchandise is a lot. It's thousands. So to change the colour of a logo and then redo all of the same merchandise that I've got is hideously and prohibitively expensive. I did like the red diamond logo, so maybe one day, but at the moment, no. I'm just going to stick to the sort of 2 main ones that we have. 3 with the face, 4 with the old classic orange logo. Tasty Classics one that I made on Canva at about 11 o'clock at night. 3 years ago when I first decided to set up the YouTube channel. But it's still pretty cool, I like it. To everyone that said this fence was going to fall down, joke's on you. It's like, it's amazing. Martin Taylor says, out of all the cars, what's been your favourite on YouTube, and what's been the worst? So I've answered this quite a lot. Favourite's probably the Panhard really, but it does vary, you know, a lot. Rascal, Truck, you know, it's all over the place what the favourite is. The least favourite though, again, that varies a little bit, but I was thinking about this the other night when I was going through these questions, and it would definitely have to be the Lada Niva. Was it Riva? Which one did I can't remember what it's called. Niva, the 4x4. God, what a pile that car was. It was annoying. So the video, I deleted the video of that, so you can't watch it anyway, because it was a blisteringly hot day when I was recording it, and it was just a nightmare, and you could tell that I was pissed off during the video, so it sort of came across not great, and you could tell I was getting frustrated because the engine was totally seized on it, but seized in an Austin 300 level of seized. I couldn't unseize it. I was trying everything I could, even started to get the head off and do all that sort of stuff on it, but the design of those cars is awful. They are garbage, absolutely garbage. And I know they're a bit of a cult classic, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody that drives larders and stuff, but people take the piss out of them for a reason. Like, they are garbage. Like, the design of everything was terrible. Your hands were getting scraped and scuffed on everything, and nothing was working, and everything was snapping, and it was just really badly knocked together, that car. It was a design that was made when they were old carburetted engines, and everything was much simpler and much better. But the one I had was a much later EFI one, and all they'd done is they'd added stuff in and added and added and added and added, and it just meant that you couldn't do one thing without doing 5 other things first to get to that one thing. And it was almost like XJS levels of annoying to get to stuff. So crap car, hated it. And yeah, that's probably the worst one. But I deleted the video just because it was a bad video. So it's the only video I've ever deleted. Has the Mercedes video deleted? The one that I couldn't finish. I only managed to do half the video because we found out that it could never go back on the road. It had been registered as scrapped. And you might have been able to fight the DVLA for stuff, but it wasn't worth my time going down that road, paying someone lots of money for a car that possibly could never go back on the road.
Now, underneath this very sad looking hood, there should be a 2.8 litre straight 6 pushing out a whopping 190 bhp, which is not to be sniffed at, and it wouldn't be if it was in a Volkswagen Polo. But this car next to me here weighs almost 2 tons.
M Takala, I think I'm saying that right, M Takala. What's the balance between will it run videos and restoration videos? I would like to do, well, so will it run videos are probably my favourite, and they by far get the most views, and more review guys have joined up through watching those videos than the restoration stuff. The restoration side of things doesn't get that many views in the scheme of things, and it tends to take 10 times as long and cost 10 times as much to do. So I can't go crazy with the restoration stuff, but what I like doing, similar to the Panda and the TR7, is 2 to 3 episode stuff. So one video of will it run, will it go, will it drive, will it move, all that sort of stuff, so I can see how viable it is. And then another video then of me putting it all back together and doing it and doing a bit of painting and making it a nice thing. I really like doing that. That kind of suits me, but the car has to be viable. So it has to be something that I can sort of restore in a couple of weeks. So for example, when I did, hello buddy, come say hello. But yeah, so for example, the Rascal, the viewership, it was killing the channel, me restoring that thing, because people were sick of seeing it by the end of it. There's a lot of you that were not sick of it, and for that I love you all, thank you. But the majority of the people that just flick past and don't really care, they just want to see me working on something fresh, it was killing the channel working on that car. So which is why the Capri has been farmed off, just to do the welding and the painting, and I'll do the interesting stuff. Same with the Morris and things as well, is that people just aren't that interested in seeing multiple episodes. Same with the Panhard. By the time we got to the end of the Panhard, nobody was really watching it. It got, reviewers were a lot less. And it's interesting to see if you want me to do stuff with a Beetle, I'll do short half-an-hour videos instead of doing long ones each time. I don't know, but essentially restoration stuff costs a lot more, is a lot harder to do, and I only really want to do if the car's completely viable. If it's stuff like this, it's just going to be will it run and drive. But this is probably my favourite thing to do. I want to do more will it run and drives, because I just enjoy it, because you don't have to care too much about the car. You can just really go for it, and yeah, again, find that a bit more interesting. I think you guys do as well watching, Denver Viking, is that Denver Viking? Denver Viking? Where's the I gone? There's no I in team, there's no I in Denver Viking either. He wants to know, what does it feel like hitting 100,000 subscribers? And this is the last question on the video. You'll probably be pleased to know. But I hope you've enjoyed it. You can see why you've been watching this. I feel a sense of purpose more than I ever did before. And these things that I brought back to life, this is all for you guys. It's all for future generations. This is for people that I'm hoping when I'm long gone, these cars are still going to be there. You know, providing I keep them on tarmac and they don't rot away too much. I feel very privileged, really, that you guys were along with me for this ride. We're doing it sort of together. I need to get a dog. This isn't my dog, but do you want to come and live with me? Is this what you want? I think it is. What are you doing? What are you sneezing for? Do you want food? I haven't got any food. That's all you want, isn't it? Or do you just want fuss? So yeah, I feel privileged. I feel good about hitting 100,000 subscribers. And when I'm out and about and I meet the odd one of you guys occasionally, it does happen in the street. Someone will go, "Oh, you're that guy that messes about with cars on YouTube." And I go, "Yeah, I am." And that's really cool. And it's a privilege to meet you and hear your story. I met a guy called Pete in the paint shop the other day. Pete, if you're watching this, and he was telling me about all his cars and stuff, and I really like that. I like that. That means a lot that you would tell me about your stuff, and it's great. It gives me that sense of purpose. I think what I'm saying is I feel lucky to have you guys, and you guys are probably feeling lucky that it's the end of this video now as well. But yeah, that's about the size of it. I feel privileged to know some of you and to have gained you all as friends and, you know, people. I recognise a lot of your names in the comments and stuff when I see you pop up. People that have followed me since I had 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 subscribers when I started the first Rascal video. You know, and look at it now over there, isn't it nice? But yeah, so I feel good about hitting 100,000 subscribers. It means a lot, really does mean a lot. So look, thank you very much, and I hope I can see some of you at the meet in July. And it's Friday night, almost soon, a couple of hours. I'm going to go and imbibe 12 pints of Nakota, I think, which is a Welsh IPA. It's pretty nice. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon for Panda Part 2. Bye.